Dude, we're at 98K. We just touched 99 a little bit ago. What's going on?
I did not see us hit 99. Did we really?
We hit 99 and I was
I,
I was thinking we're going to 100K like now, but then it just backtracked a little bit and we're at regressed all the way down to the very low price of 98,100. But we
yeah,
touched
I mean
99.
the dips are their last time we talked about this, but they only last minutes right now. Like I if you wanted to buy at 96, you can't. I mean it's just too fast.
It's pretty wild. We've got a lot of exciting things that are happening today as we're like approaching 100K. The first of which is Gensler said that he's going to resign when Trump takes office. I mean, how poetic is it
Do it now.
that the
Do
same
it
day we hit
now.
99K, Gensler is going to says he's going to step down.
It's an admission of defeat, and I think looking back, we wanted a lot of plebs. We wanted Gensler to be kind of like a hero in the complex,
Yeah.
by fighting for us from within. And that is not what is materialized.
No,
It's
it
it's
certainly is not. And I remember just seeing the old videos of him at MIT talking about, blockchain technology and getting pretty excited. Like, we got a guy that can teach this stuff and sort of understands it, but uh yeah, but you know what? I'm sure he's going to end up at some other, it'd probably be like some, crypto firm
chain
or something, and he's gone, but he's not
analysis.
forever.
He'll be a chain analysis. So
Yes.
where do you think he went wrong?
Oh, that's a big question. Where did he go right?
He taught a class on Bitcoin. You would think
Yeah.
that being somebody who had to grade people on their responses about what Bitcoin is and how it works, someone who's judging Bitcoin, from the white paper and teaching about it,
Yeah.
uh, would have an appreciation for it in the way that, any Bitcoin adopter does. But I'll speculate that I think that he got in bed with some of the senators who are anti-Bitcoin and some of the
Warren,
financial.
Senator Warrens of the world. Yeah.
I think so. Now, I don't have any proof. That's my gut, but he would be one of the few people that we know they have a lot of knowledge around Bitcoin, but they sniff and walk away or become an enemy.
Absolutely. And I mean, as of today, I mean, it's been a slow march toward this, but we are dismantling Senator Warren's anti-crypto army,
Right.
right?
Yeah. She'll wake up one day and her interests in the banking community will have to tell her, hey, Liz, calm down. We didn't have a choice. We had to load up on Bitcoin. I know this makes things awkward for you, but it's just the reality that we're living in today. The picture has changed.
Cue the meme
And
of the scrying liberal on her knees. No.
it's going to be a beautiful day. Yeah, it's going to happen. You either adopt it or you suffer the consequences. And if you are a financial entity, you cannot ignore Bitcoin anymore.
No, you can't. You can't. By the way, I keep looking at my mustache. I can't stop staring at it. Do you like it?
What drove you to get rid of the rest of your facial hair?
My wife hates it.
Does
So,
she?
yeah, I mean, she says, "Oh, it's okay," but I know deep down she doesn't like the lip tickler. That's what I call it, and that's kind of creepy.
That's a good name for it. Yeah, I
Lip,
think if you were about to head to the academy, you would fit right in. It looks good. It doesn't look bad. It looks good. I do that occasionally. I'll get rid of the beard, leave the mustache,
yeah,
surprise my wife at home, and then she screams, and I have to go get rid of it. But
yes,
so what's the timeline on that bad boy you got there?
lip ticklers to 200K.
Okay,
So
so
at
what,
this
what are
rate,
we
probably like a
thinking?
week.
February? Yeah, 8 weeks. 8 weeks next.
I don't know, man. We'll see how long I can get away with it. I always there's always some type of comment that does it. And for me, one time is like my wife said that it looked like Jeffrey Dahmer. So I shaved it real quick
Oh
after
man,
that. So. Can't be
That's
getting that.
yeah, that's a little harsh. To be honest, I don't remember what that guy looks like, but or what he did look like. But
I
you
looked
know,
I looked him up. I had to make sure I looked nothing like him. It was just it's kind of
it's an
telling me
unfair
like a serial killer, you know.
it's an unfair
Printed out the
comparison.
picture. I said, "This, do you see? This is what I. You're saying this is what I look like."
I would
I
have pulled up Super Troopers.
I would see it, that, but that so that would keep me going. And so
Okay.
the thing is, she doesn't want to keep it going. She wants
Yeah,
to find a way to tear me down, man.
right, right. Well, good luck. Hopefully you can keep it to 200K.
If the price starts like shooting up right now, it's going to turn into this really weird, good luck charm, like a superstition. Like
Oh,
baseball players that wear the same socks over and over.
like a rabbit's foot.
So it's like if we go over 100K today, I'm not going to be able to shave it until we get like a drastic pull down.
Yeah. And
So
we might not have those. I mean, 100K is really an invisible line. It doesn't mean
that's
anything to Bitcoin.
that's true. That's true. That's true. But hey, man, enough about my mustache. I don't know why you brought it up, but thanks for
Trying to make things
thanks for
awkward.
wanting to talk about it.
Well,
So,
congrats. Best of
thank you.
luck.
Thank you. Thank you. So what else do we have in the news here? We've got Trump just announced like 20 minutes ago that he's going to have a crypto advisory council expected to set up a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Something we've mentioned on every show so far. Those three words, strategic Bitcoin reserve. It's actually
Yeah.
happening. It's one thing to just sort of say it at a conference and, dangle it out there a little bit, but to actually now you form a council to follow through on that. Pretty big deal. What do you think?
Yeah, I love it. I think that Bitcoin is for everyone. I think, the US has, confiscated 200,000 Bitcoin, but they still want to purchase. I've heard both things. They want to purchase a million, and in other instances, they say that 200 counts towards the million. But it doesn't matter because we're talking about a huge buying pressure, and I saw Pomp this week say it's 250 billion to start doing this. We are
Wow.
giving so much money to other countries for whatever reason. You cannot audit any large purchases that the government makes. You can't audit the Pentagon, whatever. We can go down the list. But if they do a strategic reserve, according to the bill that Cynthia Lummis put forward and what we're looking at from Trump, I think point number 3 or 4, whatever the 7 points were, it will be auditable. You will be able to look at the US Bitcoin holding public address. And to me, that is incredible. So I love it. I think, as everyone has talked about, it starts the Bitcoin race, and you better start stacking Bitcoin. You know, everybody, country, people, companies. The race is on.
It sure is. I think the huge difference there between, we say we have gold reserves, but do we really?
Right.
Right. Because you can't point to an address. You can say, oh, it's in the basement here, and here's the paperwork that shows that. But, it is really, you can't avoid it with Bitcoin. So, even from a technological standpoint, not even just what it does for the economy, right? Actually, as a pivot toward transparency, right? And almost like a reversion to what the country is supposed to be like that our founding fathers had envisioned, right? So like it's a beautiful thing, and I mean, what a fun ride just being able to. It feels like every day we have something that's sort of inching us toward this revolution, and as we like to say in Bitcoin, gradually then suddenly.
Yeah. What I like most about what we're experiencing right now is that I'm on the correct side of the situation. In the
Yes,
previous years, when Bitcoin
yes.
was doing something exciting, I was always chasing, scrambling, panicking, losing sleep, dumping, you know, dollars into these high prices just to try to get some before it escaped. And I was naive, I'll admit that. I bought a lot of tops, but I think even if you're starting today, you have to set reasonable goals for yourself, and think about getting to that, point oh 0.01, get to it, and then ultimately get to a tenth. But I love being on the side where I feel like, I'm not going to ever stop stacking, but at least I put myself in a position to enjoy the ride up.
100%. You have an opportunity to exchange your worthless fiat currency for the best money the world has ever seen. Politicians are catching on to that. Clearly, we just talked about what the U.S. is doing. We know what El Salvador has done. Bhutan is stockpiling Bitcoin. You've got where's the other place that is mining Bitcoin with hydro power, previously
Mm.
unused, right? Polish president is a candidate. I'm not even going to try and pronounce his name. He says he's planning a Bitcoin reserve as well. He wants Poland to be the Bitcoin leader if elected in 2025. It's like if you're just a regular person, right? These things haven't really happened yet, right? Of course, El Salvador has, but you still have an opportunity to front run governments and nation states. So it's like, I wouldn't even think of it as like getting in late. This is not late. This is still very early in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah. And it's also just about participating.
Yes.
Be
Yeah.
part of it. Quit looking from the sidelines. I'm sure you have gotten texts this week. I've gotten texts this week from, I don't know, not many, but three or four people. And some of it's, hey, congrats, good work. And it's just painful because I didn't want to go on this journey alone.
Yeah.
And as passionate I was is also equivalent to how obnoxious I was
Yeah.
about Bitcoin. And I'm sure that I damaged someone else's journey by being so enthusiastic. But at the same, on the other side of the coin is I did what I could to try to get them to see what I was learning. And it's tough to watch people from the outside. Participating is key, and it doesn't take a lot of money.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think the salesmanship of being involved in Bitcoin, one, it takes an open mind. So you have to be very open-minded to entertain it, learn from it. It's not a risk mentality, it's just being open-mindedness because then once you learn about it, it attracts the risk averse. That's why I try and communicate to people. It's like I buy Bitcoin because I am risk averse. As I avoid crypto because of that, right? Because it's risk on. And I think regular people don't really understand what that means, but it's because they haven't read the books, they haven't listened to the podcasts, they haven't done the work. So once you do, I think it attracts open-minded people and also probably enthusiastic people, or maybe it creates a larger, number of enthusiasm because once you learn about it, you can't stop shutting the fuck up about it, right?
Yeah, the other thing that I've noticed is that it feels like I can win.
Yeah,
And anybody can win. If you live in a country that you know has a government that oppresses you, you can win. And the funny thing is, I'm not necessarily talking about a developing country, the global South, third world country, whatever you want to call it. Like our country, the U.S., it oppresses its people, and they do it by printing money. And I go out there and I work, but I'm working for something that they can print out of thin air,
yeah.
and now I have a chance to win, to not accept that situation as something I can't get out of. Like there is an escape hatch. There's a way for me to work hard to earn as much of that, Federal Reserve note paper and turn it into something better that increases my overall net worth over time.
Mhm.
And no matter who you are, Bitcoin doesn't care what your family life was like, what city you grew up in, what advantages you have. It is just there to help you if you are willing to accept it.
Yeah.
And I think that the powerful thing is it levels all of us who are willing to participate. It's either you're in or you're out. And someone who didn't have everything in life, can really make a way where previously it was very difficult.
Well said, brother. It's really because it's fairness, it's anyone can buy it anywhere in the world. This is not a stock. Everyone has the same playing field, essentially, it knows no borders or it knows no socioeconomic status. So if you are, looking to, take 10 steps forward for your life and, the future, your future family, whatever it is, or wanting to look after your parents, whatever kind of goals you have, like this is the thing that you do it with, and the earlier you get involved, the easier it's going to be.
Well said.
Yep.
Is there a support level for MicroStrategy?
Well, not particularly, right? When you're literally, I mean, here's the expression: it's going up and to the left. And think about every day you got to put the bar out to the right when you have a bar chart. It's literally going to fall in on itself, so to speak. And I don't know what's driving it. Perhaps you all have talked about that or have the answer. But one client, this is a big institutional client, he heard this literally: the more expensive the stock gets relative to Bitcoin, the more money they can raise and then buy more Bitcoin, like a flywheel effect. That's insane.
Before we let you go, Carter,
That's insane.
NVIDIA, what do you see here?
Yeah, well, it's not a it turns out, and obviously in a way that's important. Right. It's not so much of it had done yet another good.
All right, talk to me.
I love that. So he had a big institutional client call him and say, hey, when the stock gets more expensive, they buy more Bitcoin, like a flywheel effect, and the price goes up. That's insane. Just prior to that, he said, I don't know what's making this stock go up. Maybe you all do. I love this because what's happening right now, we're at almost at 100K. Saylor is buying Bitcoin. He's selling his shares in his company to buy more. It's making his stock, as this guy said, as his big institutional investor said, it is creating a flywheel effect. The demand for Bitcoin it's going to continue to go up, and the finance bros have no idea. They have no idea. And in many cases, these guys are not allowed to sell Bitcoin. They have to tell their clients this is too risky. Forget about MicroStrategy. This thing is way into the risk, end of the pool. They couldn't even dream of putting MicroStrategy on their client's balance sheet. But if you're looking at MicroStrategy today, we're seeing this pattern over a couple of weeks. One day it'll peak, go up very high. The next day, it looks like Saylor is selling his shares. He's capturing all that revenue, and then he's buying Bitcoin. So today, MicroStrategy has just totally cratered. And then Bitcoin, of course, is pumping. And so we have this relationship playing out, and we can watch it. And the Wall Street guys have no idea what's happening. But ultimately, more Bitcoin is being taken off the market. Whether you like Saylor, MicroStrategy or not, the demand for Bitcoin is only increasing. And he figured out a way to use his company as the engine. It's incredible.
Well, Saylor's a genius. These guys, with the suits and the ties, they're like they're caught in the worst part of history for them. But up until this point, I don't know, for the last, I don't know, 80 years, maybe, or since the Federal Reserve was created in 1913, we've lived in a top-down world, right? Where you have the authority, it's very hierarchical, and just the plebs at the bottom had no say. It didn't matter. Now there's been a paradigm shift with the internet, with Bitcoin, freedom, of speech platforms like X now and Nostr, where us humble plebs are the ones that in this amazing revolution get to dictate terms, right? Like, because we can communicate 24/7 without borders, people all the way in China, wherever you live, Africa, the United States, it doesn't matter. And I think we saw some of that, with the Hello, or with Roaring Kitty, right?
Roaring Kitty.
Wall Street Bets, but that was like so misplaced because it was a stock, and you can't send a stock from the United States to Africa. People in Africa can't buy it. You can't leave it, and your country, if you need that money and tap into it, they can dilute all this stuff. Now you have this thing called Bitcoin. It's totally changed the world. And Saylor was this guy, he comes from that top-down model, right? He's at the top of the hierarchy. He's like in that world, but he recognized something and Trojan horsed it, right? Like
Yeah,
that's the glitch, but this is just the beginning of that glitch. And it's really truly something special to watch.
it is. And I think when you listen to Michael Saylor, he experiences the same frustrations that anyone who isn't at the top of the system feels. And even though he was running a company as a CEO, very wealthy, he still was sitting there not being able to achieve what he felt like he was destined to achieve. And we're all out here fighting against these invisible realities, the invisible forces that make you feel like you're worthless, you're not good enough, you're not working hard enough, you're not smart enough, you'll never achieve. And what he created and what we're taking part of is really taking all of that energy back and owning it for ourselves and doing it without having to ask permission. And the difference between Bitcoin and the GameStop scenario is that Robinhood or whoever could stop trading and they could keep you from
Yes,
being able to purchase GameStop. And they kept you
they did.
because they controlled it all. They kept you off of the field. But because Bitcoin is permissionless, it's a protocol. You can either adopt it or not. They cannot keep you from participating. That's what's different.
And the sooner you get on board and just buy it, adopt it, the easier like your life is going to be if you're one of these guys with the ties, you know?
Yeah, man.
Okay, we got another thing. This is a guy we just watched. I got so much shit up here. Okay, I'm just gonna go back to our. No, this
Yeah.
is the video.
Yeah, what's interesting about Nvidia is that so much of today's wealth has been, put in those top seven stocks. So much of it is really centered on Nvidia. And I think what we want to pay attention to right now is, imagine the whole world just sitting on one spoke, one piece of a stool. Like that's what's happening, in my opinion, on Nvidia. There's so much wealth concentrated in this company. And what we saw yesterday, that Nvidia appears to be booking their revenue before they've actually acquired it, before it's come in house. And so it could make it look like they're more profitable than they actually are. And you could be, you don't want to be the last one out. And that's essentially what we're going to hear from this clip.
All right, let's give it a watch.
Capacity over, built, that sort of thing in the not so distant future. And so when you're coming in and you're beating these numbers just by a hair and the stocks are still sticking around, it shows you that investors still want the exposure, but sooner or later, I think it's going to be like one of those things where you're going to start seeing a couple quarters of declines by not just the picks and shovels, but also the hyperscalers.
I think that's a ways off, though, and I think that the hard part of owning NVIDIA is if everybody knows, all right, 6 quarters from now they're going to have slower growth. When do you exit? Yeah, you want to exit before all the other people decide to exit. So I don't know. There's the rub.
So what do you think happens here?
I don't know. I hate to speculate because I think a lot of people are counting on Nvidia to continue increasing. And we are hearing for the first times, from my point of view, people starting to question whether or not they want to be in this thing for the long term. And if NVIDIA is doing everything by the book or not. I don't have the answers to those questions. It's not financial advice for me, but I don't own any NVIDIA. But I'm looking on the outside and I'm relieved that I own Bitcoin. No matter the dollar price, one Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. That's all that matters.
Amen,
I don't
brother.
I don't have to worry about when do I exit this stock.
I think to end the news here with a bit of inspiration from, I think, is one of the best spokespeople for Bitcoin. I mean, Jack Mallers.
Yeah.
I freaking love Jack. And here's him on Bloomberg just yesterday, clip from our friends at Simply Bitcoin, just getting you really bullish. So let's end the news with that.
I think the unique positioning on the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, I think if this happens, this will be one of the most important economic announcements in U.S. history. I think it'd be on par with 1971 and Nixon. However, what I think is not being talked about enough is it's positive, Caroline. It's positive.
Because you'd have to go out there and buy in the market.
He's so fired up. Look at his face.
My meaning is this. In 1933, the U.S. had a really big economic announcement. What was it? We're taking all your gold. In 1971, the U.S. had a really big economic announcement. What was it? We're divorcing ourselves from the gold standard so we can print money. In 2008, the U.S. had a really big economic announcement. What was it? It was we're bailing out all the big banks that misbehaved. In 2025, if the U.S. has a really big economic announcement, what is it? It's we're pro-technology, we're pro-innovation. What principles and morals and ethical alignment does Bitcoin have? Equal rights, equal opportunity, an open network. These are American ideals, American values. This is an asset that was accessible to the people 15 years ago that the people own. Governments only own 2, 3, 4% of this asset. This asset is held by the people. It acts in the best interest of the public. It's pro-jobs, it's pro-energy, it's pro-industry, it's pro-growth. And does anyone else have a plan to get us out of debt? Are we going to start a lemonade stand out here in Times Square? No, how about the best performing asset in the history of mankind? We lean into it. We buy it. Coinbase is an American company. Strike's an American company. Kraken's an American company. Tether sells the US dollar. Let's support these businesses. Let's support this industry.
The market cap is less than Nvidia for the entire crypto ecosystem. When does that become bigger?
I think when people buy it, listen, I think that ego gets in the way of many people. People think they're late to Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I don't understand that, right? I think that late according to who? Oh, because you're comparing yourself to Michael Saylor, you're comparing yourself to your college roommate, you're comparing yourself to your coworker. Over the last 15 years, the best thing you could have done is buy Bitcoin. And I think that's going to be true for the next 1,500 years. And so as a country, I think we have a choice. I think everyone else around the world is understanding we are pro-growth, pro-business, pro-Bitcoin as this new administration takes office. And we have to make a decision. I think the worst thing we can do is not own enough. And actually, to de-risk this, we should buy some and push these American ideals in technology and innovation and growth through the best performing asset and technology in mankind.
Fired up. Jack Mallers, what an absolute legend. And I just love the fact that he just goes on Bloomberg.
I think the unique positioning on the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve.
With a t-shirt.
Wearing Converse.
Typically he does the interviews from his closet, his empty closet, you know. But I mean, he nails it, right? You're not late. This is the best money we've ever seen in human history. It's going to be that way for the next 1,500 years. Like, this is crazy opportunity. Like, it is it's like there's so many positives that come with this that you can't even list them all, right? We don't even actually know the effects that this is going to have for future generations. But, you know, as he lays out, the one thing is it's not negative, right? It's not taking us off the gold standard, you know, it's not bailing out the bankers, right? This is a huge positive step forward. You know, all these like shitty years, all this inflation, that's because of all those negative things. But when you flip the switch, now you're looking out to this hopeful future of what could be, you know, unburdened by what has been.
We just need the significance of the passage of time to see where this really takes us.
Yeah.
Can't really know yet. Well, you know, well said though. Well said. You're spot on right there. It's impossible to imagine. Why wouldn't you want to participate? Like, you know, you're selling me. Jack is selling me. Like, I want to buy Bitcoin every single day.
Yep. Well, we can buy some Bitcoin coming up soon here in a little bit. Let's take a quick break. We'll do Bitcoin or shit, and then we'll stack some Bitcoin to make us feel better about not buying Bitcoin like 10 years ago.
Let's do it.
Ed and Joe's Car Wash Service. It's only $5.
Great.
Okay, Joey, we got 18 cars to clean. So let's go have a Budweiser.
When you drink a beer that's strong yet smooth because it's matured over beechwood, you can take your time.
Beer's great, Ed. But what about the cars? Joseph, we just went automatic.
What are those?
Google glass. Those weren't around for very long. I mean, those are for like
Yeah, the glass holes.
yeah.
You
Those are
remember
not
that?
like, yeah, I do. Those were not around for, so if you bought Bitcoin instead of frickin' Google Glass, you'd have the equivalent of 328K,
Yeah.
3.36 Bitcoin.
Let that be a lesson if you're thinking about buying Facebook's Ray-Bans that record and then upload to your social platform on the go. You're going to suffer the same. You're going to wish you had bought Bitcoin instead.
And you deserve it. You deserve to suffer in shame if you wear those atrocities and recording people. It's such an invasion of privacy, and they
Oh,
suck.
yeah.
The whole thing is just disgusting. It's like the antithesis of the way that I want the world to be.
Yeah,
We need to return to privacy. Uh, and yeah, you know what? If you buy them, I quite honestly, I hope that you have fun staying for.
well said. I'm right there with you.
Cool, brother. Okay, well, we'll take another quick break, then we'll come back and we'll stack some coin. Okay, well, now's the time in the show where we stack some corn together. And the whole point of this is that we want you to end the hangout with us with more Bitcoin than when you started. So choose your preferred app and let us stack it together.
I'm going with Strike again. And yeah, I mean, for the viewers at home, I mean, this is peer pressure, but it's positive, right?
Peer pressure, peer pressure.
I mean, the only downside to this right now, I'm gonna buy. What are you gonna buy? I'm gonna buy $42 in honor of Saylor's 42 billion Bitcoin purchase over the next 3 years.
I'm going to do that with you, sir. And I
Yeah.
love it. I'll say this. Every episode we've done this, this is the third one. We've said, man, we keep buying the top. But the
Right.
first week, the top was 77. Last week was 84.
Yeah.
And right now we're at almost 99K.
It's 98.7. This is gonna be at
98.
99. All right, I'm typing it in. I'm using Strike, $42.
We're at $2. This time next week, it's probably going to be, we're going to be doing this over 100K. It's going to be like 104. That's my prediction this time next
I
week.
was thinking, yeah, I was thinking 103, but you're more bullish. All right, my fee is 33 cents, and the Bitcoin price is 98,804.
My fee's 42 cents. It's 98,976.
Okay.
I'm doing river.
42,174 sats.
Oh,
You
I
know what
bought
that
40.
means?
I just bought 42K worth of Bitcoin. Did you say $42?
Oh, yeah, no, wow. That's
I
dang,
thought
dude,
it was
that's
a casual like
almost
3K buy. Oh, I'm
almost
sorry.
half a Bitcoin.
Oh, I'm sorry. My mistake.
I don't know how to bow, but that was me bowing to your
Whoops.
$42,000 purchase. Goodness. You know what's crazy is like we're almost at that thousand sat per dollar mark. Moscow time. 1,000 sats per dollar.
Scout time, baby. Wild. Wild. Absolutely
Yeah,
wild
I'm
stuff.
getting a healthy stack now in my Strike app from these regular buys.
This is fun. This is my favorite part of the show, I have to say.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I don't have $42, you know. If I had 100, maybe I'd
Yeah.
only spend 20. But 42
You
bucks.
don't need to match us, right? You don't need to do, I mean, if you're you, 42, if you're me, 42,000. But hey.
Right. I don't feel bad.
Now listen, but listen,
I'm
dude,
happy for you.
if you're a high net worth individual and you have that 42K lying around, just buy it,
Right.
But if
Yeah.
you don't,
And
you
you're
only got 100, you can buy $1, buy $5, whatever it is, just buy some.
yeah. Yeah, that's right. But if you are buying 100,000, let us give you our referral code so we can
Yes, exactly.
earn some sats back on your purchase.
Should we just get some like ultra high net worth individuals on this show in the future to stack with us and just tell them that we're buying like 50K worth of Bitcoin?
Oh man, that is so good. Yeah. And
Just so that's right.
we'll just be dragging them into a whole coiner status.
And we'll tell them, we'll be like, listen, like we'll just lie, I think, about the viewers. You have like 500,000 people watching the Stack Show right now
Right.
that are
They're counting.
counting you.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
I hadn't thought about that, but it's an interesting technique. It would add a new element to the show.
And it's not manipulative if you really think of it, you know?
We're helping them.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Being a friend and helping them get more Bitcoin.
Right. Okay. Well, let's take another quick commercial break. One of our newest sponsors. We shall be right back.
Wonder what this will be.
Why do I love you? Why does something that feels so good hurt so bad? Do you love me? Believe in me. Love me. Unforgivable.
The fragrance for men from Sean John.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
That surprises me. I was not expecting that.
Well, if you're tuning in, then you have to learn to expect the unexpected. So you never know what you're going to get. Actually.
You never know.
All right, buddy, you want to kick us off here? What are you paying attention to this week?
All right. So somebody mentioned this and it really struck a chord with me. 99% of the world will never be able to own an entire Bitcoin, a whole coin. The era of the whole coiner is either coming close to an end or it's at the end. And I think what's interesting about this is, the millionaire, the guy who drives the Porsche 911 down the street in your neighborhood, or where, maybe not your neighborhood, but in your town, he probably hasn't bought Bitcoin yet. And he's going to be competing with every other millionaire of the 60 million millionaires worldwide to get 0.026 Bitcoin, which is a little over 2.5 million sats. I mean, we're talking about a very small amount that, last year you could have purchased for about $750. But we're entering a period of time where the millionaires are going to be competing to secure that much.
Dude, I mean, there's just simply not enough Bitcoin to go around for everybody. And if you're not a millionaire, then you have an opportunity to front run the millionaires. You can
That's
have
right.
Right? So do it. That's great. I'll add on to that there's this interesting video that was released by Casa, I guess, not Casa, not Casa, Casa. I don't know why I said it that way. Casa. Their CEO posted a video, and it was a scammer posing as Coinbase support. Caught him in the act, and he got the scammer to spill everything. I'm not going to show the video because it's 15 minutes long. But if you just go on Twitter, you look up Casa scammer, I'm sure you'll find it. And I'll say this right now, like there's a huge honeypot for these scammers, and there's a lot of them, and they're organized, and they're gonna try and call you if you have Bitcoin, and they're gonna try and send you spoofed emails, all with the intention of getting you to fork over your keys. Okay, so just never do that. Always be cautious. This scammer divulged really everything about the whole process, and he said that he's even gotten Bitcoin from software engineers, CEOs, founders of companies, very smart people that are probably just in a rush, can't be bothered, and are driven from the fear that something actually went wrong. Never do anything like that. But if you are stacking the way that we're stacking, eventually you are going to have, life-changing wealth. And with that comes danger. And that's just fact of the matter. And you have to confront that, right? You will have a target on your head in the form of people calling you to try and scam you. That's really the first step, but there's always the threat of a $5 wrench attack where someone's just going to try and strong arm you into stealing your seed phrase and your Bitcoin. You can always look into multi-sig, which is a really safe way of distributing your keys, and maybe we can talk about that on a later episode, which you can stir one yourself, one with your lawyer, one with somebody else, distribute them. So, anyone that's trying to steal it from you and, strong arm you won't actually have the ability to even do that. But as Bitcoin continues to rip in price, once we start to see $1 million Bitcoin, more than that, the incentive and the desperation for people and what they're willing to do to get their hands on that is going to increase exponentially. So if you're buying Bitcoin at the same time, start thinking about ways that you can protect yourself. Do it in the most secure way possible, and stay frosty. And that's it. Just a little
That's good advice.
That's what I'm thinking about this week.
Yeah, that was all good advice. Self-custody, that's the way to go. I held Bitcoin on an app on my phone, and I would open it up, hit my code, and just wait to see that my sats were gone. And I lived like that for probably a year early in my journey, and then I had to kind of clear my schedule. It took me an hour, but I sat down, I learned how to take my Bitcoin from where I had held it, the exchange, to the app wallet, to cold storage, put it behind those 12 words, and then shortly went, boating afterwards, and now it's gone. But
yeah, I lost mine too. And on top of that, right? So yeah, of course, self-custody, looking to multi-sig setups, that's probably your greatest peace of mind. But don't tell anyone how much Bitcoin you have. Your friends, when you're at a party, I know it feels really easy to be like, oh yeah, man, I got like all this Bitcoin. You never know who's around or who they're going to tell and who might be desperate. And so the last thing you want is someone showing up at your house in a mask, and especially for you to be unprepared for anything like that to happen. So just visualize all those kinds of scenarios, and just you can talk about Bitcoin, but never divulge any sensitive information.
Yeah. Good call.
Well, let's step away for a moment, and then we'll come back and we'll do our have fun staying poor section. How does that sound? You guys ready for this?
Let's do it.
Okay. You guys ready for this?
Let's do it.
All right, we are back, baby, for our have fun staying poor section. Who should have fun staying poor? Let's take a look. Well, certainly David Hoffman over at Bankless, otherwise known as Moneyless, because all they do is ETH bullshit stuff. The Ethereum roadmap, more blobs and Celestia, faster execution in Solana, better money than Bitcoin in your damn dreams, dude. I mean, the amount of cope coming from the ETH cards is absolutely ridiculous, and I'm here for it. I just love to see it. You got to pivot to Bitcoin at some point. You're already seeing the guys at Cardano do it. I hate it, but it's like, Bitcoin doesn't need you. You need Bitcoin. So eventually, I predict that all the .eths will come over to the Bitcoin camp.
Oh man, I don't know if they will or not. I don't care. Is that all right?
That's okay.
Do whatever you want. I don't care. Have fun playing with your ETH.
Do we care what Jim Cramer has to say?
Oh goodness, this is from January of this year, 10 months ago. What did he say right before or as the ETFs were getting approved? And the price was at 43,000.
Let's watch.
Legendary Larry Williams has been saying about Bitcoin. He says we're really kind of at the beginning of one of the most major collapses he's ever seen. So I don't think I want to go into Mara, as we call it on the trading desk. I think I want to stay away from Bitcoin. By the way, those who are in Bitcoin, nothing bad to say. Let's go to Rebecca in New York.
He doesn't want the hate mail.
I love just heavy metal in the background too.
Oh goodness. I mean, wow.
What can you really say?
Here's the point I would make is don't listen to anyone. Don't listen to me. Do whatever you want, but find out for yourself. Don't watch Jim Cramer and then decide not to buy Bitcoin because on Tuesday night he's like, I don't like it. Give me a break. do a little bit of work,
Say
make
it with
up for
me.
your own mind.
Say it with me on three. 1, 2, 3. Have
Have
fun.
fun staying poor.
We got to work on that. Come on, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Have fun. Okay, we won't do that. We won't do that. But Jim Cramer, have fun staying poor.
Have so much fun staying poor.
Okay, take a quick break. Coming right back. We'll take this across the finish line.
You're looking sharp. You're looking good. You've come so far. And we know how to make the most of who you are. Father to son, it's what we've always done. To let the best of men begin. On so many faces, it's plain to see. We give you all we have to give, for all a man can be. Where the race is run, you're the champion. To let the best of men begin. To let the best of men begin.
All right, we're back. We're going to take it on through to the finish line. What do we have for us today? What are we seeing right here?
China has 2 billion people, and they have just legalized Bitcoin ownership. Now they've, been like a seesaw going back and forth. But if nothing you see in the world makes you want to buy Bitcoin, let this be it. Let this be the thing. It might not be the American Strategic Reserve that does it for you, or MicroStrategy, or the price going up, or hitting 100, or whatever. 2 billion people will not be penalized for purchasing Bitcoin in China. I think that is a big deal.
Bullish, baby.
Stampede.
This is a rumor, but I have it on good authority that the inventor of Velcro is heavily investing in Bitcoin, which is 97.5% of all the people in the world have used Velcro at least 5 times in their life. So this is big.
Yeah, my shoes still have Velcro.
I still haven't learned how to tie my shoes, so thank God for Velcro. I mean, now yeah.
Is this legit? Is this real? I thought this was this is real. Unbelievable.
Well, yeah. I have it on authority from some high net worth individuals, actually.
Oh, okay.
Having a beer
Wow.
with the inventor of Velcro at an airport bar, I think is what he said.
Oh, goodness. That sounds auspicious.
It is quite
I
auspicious.
believe it.
It's
I
bullshit.
believe it.
It's bullshit. It's bullshit. But maybe we put this rumor out, then it will come true.
Oh, shoot. We'll edit out that part.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Let's just edit that out. Yeah, dude. I think his name's Johnny Velcro. That's the
Yeah, I
inventor.
think that sounds right. I think we're connected on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been liking a lot of my Bitcoin content on that platform. So I think your story checks out.
Thank you for confirming. We like to be really accurate around here, so we fact checked in real time. We got to the bottom of it and confirmed 100% fact.
Right. Zero shenanigans.
0. Okay, that is not my parting wisdom. It's a lot more serious than that. I would like to just call to action for everybody. If you're watching this, I'm trying to get a movement here. It was laser eyes to 100K. We're getting to 100K, but we're going to keep the laser eyes going. Laser eyes till fiat dies. But more than that, mustaches to 200K. What do we think? Lip ticklers all the way to the moon.
Sure. I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Next call, I better see a mustache.
All right. You got it.
Last thing, we ended last week's call with a little Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, prediction stuff. We both thought that Tyson was going to win. We were both duped, and I feel like an idiot.
We weren't duped. I feel like everybody lost. The fighters lost. The audience who paid for a ticket or made a bet lost. The viewers at home lost. Anyone who was buying Netflix subscription that night just to watch the game or whatever the match. I lost. I thought that they were going to approach it in a genuine fashion, and it clearly we were rug pulled. Hey, it happens.
Be wrong.
But I think the only people who won the fight were those that did not tune in and ignored it for whatever reason. Life was too busy, didn't get caught up in the hype. Congratulations, you won.
You know what? Years from now, we're going to be doing Bitcoiner shit. And then if you paid for a Netflix subscription to watch the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight, that's going to happen. But life goes on. Life goes on. And you live and learn. That's all you can
That's
really
right. Keep stacking sats.
Okay, well, that was a fun show. Let's see what happens over the next few days here if we go north of 100K. I feel like it's going to happen, but regardless, if you tuned in with us today, thank you. Like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you want to talk about. And hopefully you ended this show by, having more Bitcoin than you did when you started. Peace.